Breaking news on famous celebrity psychic Robin Zodiac, also known as Psychic Mom, and her order of business of her Secrets to New You Love ebook series on Amazon, to her live call-in Friday night show on ubnradio.com between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. California time, to her interactive lifestyle website www.psy-chic.com, which is the word psychic with a dash in the middle. That's psy-chic.com, to her in-person psychic readings at her Culver City studio. So log on now to psy-chic.com for more information about your accurate psychic reading with Robin Zodiac today.
Being spiritual and not religious drew us to psychic.com and its dating section linked in the footer.
It's a new launch, and we want you to register in hopes that you find a lover, partner, and a friend beyond a traditional introduction, breaking the use of cultural perception.
Tell your friends now.
You just called me by my pet name for my husband, Trixie.
How did you know?
That's crazy.
How did you know?
After Jerry died, the cops wouldn't stop harassing me. They couldn't prove anything. They actually thought that I killed him. Anyways, San Francisco got to be a really bad trip after you left. And that's when I remembered you had that extra apartment.
Hey. Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Well, what do men want?
Just a pretty woman to love and to take care of them. Love me. Love me. What I'm really interested in is love. You might say I'm addicted to love. You want to take a girl up there now? You want some?
What is it?
Well, I met this great-looking guy, and I used love magic on him. Then he got really weird on me. All these emotions started flowing out of him. Then he got really sick. What is it, Wayne? What is it, baby? What a pussy. What a baby. Wayne. Witchcraft is just a way of concentrating energy. You can only work with what's already there. I just use sex magic to create love magic. Sometimes it's almost scary how strong the love gets.
And sex magic, of course.
I would do anything for love.
And happy St. Patrick's Day. It's Robin Zodiac, and you just watched a clip from The Love Witch. Excuse me, we have the pleasure of actually interviewing Anna Biller, who is the producer, the director, the writer, the editor, the costume and set designer, an incredible creative mind. Anna, welcome to the show.
Hi, Robin. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And yes, I'd love to. Ah! Yay! So yeah, I loved your film. I actually went to the question and answer showing back at the end of the year, and I went with my business manager, and it's hard for him to, crack a smile, let alone laugh. And he laughed through your film. Yeah, it's a horror comedy. It's really a classic film, and I really felt like you hit so many different eras. There was the 50s with the music. It had a real 60s, 70s feel. It even had the Victorian timepiece. So I really, really wanted to know what was the inspiration? And you mentioned parapsychology. I was wondering, is that something of interest of yours, or is that something? I mean, what was the whole premise? How did this come to be, this incredible movie that's extremely artistic?
Well, I kind of made it in pieces. I started with the script, and the script mainly came from my desire to create a great cinematic femme fatale who was based on some women that I knew, or especially one woman whose life had been destroyed by being objectified a little bit too much, and then she had self-objectified, and then she kind of gone down this rabbit hole. And, I wanted to show the power of a sexualized woman, but then how that power can turn against her. And so I was really just mainly interested in telling the story about a woman. And I wanted to make her a witch because witches, are, the ultimate femme fatales in a way. They attract a lot of both positive and negative energy from the world and from men especially. And they have a lot of sexual power. And so then I started really getting into the world of witchcraft and studying and researching that a lot. So I guess what it is it's three different things. It's my interest in creating an interesting woman's story. It's my interest in the occult, and then it's my interest in classic cinema.
And do you have a particular film that you watch over and over again that has been kind of an inspiration for you to get into film? And you did go to UCLA, right, for film?
Yeah, I went to UCLA for art, for drawing and painting, and I went to Cal Arts for film after that. And no, I don't have a particular film. I would just say I really watch a lot of movies. And I have been for many years. Ever since I was a child, I've been interested in classic cinema. And I just keep watching more and more and more and more movies, and I'm very inspired by many things.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. A little bit of a psychic, feeling, seeing your art. You mentioned your childhood. With the script and the dialogue, I actually told my business manager we're going to go to this old movie that, it looks like it was done, when I was a kid. And then when I was, then the script and everything that was going on, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is completely modern. It would be a perfect movie to put in a time capsule and dig up in, 1,000 years, because I really do feel like you go to so many movies and the woman is either like this action, supernatural woman, or you have this woman like being degraded by men, or you have the woman that's the whore. But your female lead, played by Samantha Robinson, who is absolutely stunning and gorgeous, she just had so many real elements, and the script was hilarious. And there was one thing that I'd like to say to the audience, is that there was one thing that really makes me laugh when I think about it, was about the tampon. You made reference to that. The actors, the male actors in the film, had no idea what it was, and I just thought that was hilarious because I had never thought of that before. So that was amazing. And also your lead, that she smoked, and do you want to talk a little bit about, you said that this was based on a real person. Is this person famous, or is this just...
No, it's somebody in my life.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. I see. Yeah, that was hilarious, that tampon scene. I still laugh every time I
Yeah.
think
No, I
about
mean, the
it.
witchcraft part isn't based on somebody I know. So
I see.
it's kind of a mix between this woman I know and myself, I would say. So like the artistic part and the witchcraft part, that's kind of me. And then the sociopathic part is this woman I know. So like
I
just the
see.
crazy, inner life, the crazy desire to be a man's perfect fantasy, and taking that kind of literally and seriously, and how funny that is in a way, but also, how destructive it is.
Yeah, it was really funny. Elaine was the lead. I wanted to know, why did you choose that name, Elaine?
Well, it was a bunch of things. One of them is because it was partly inspired by the movie Leave Her to Heaven, and this is also a woman who loves too much and kind of destroys the world around her because of it. And her name is Ellen, and so I think that's one thing I was thinking of. But also there are some women in the Arthurian legends, several women called Elaine. And then there's also Eleanor of Aquitaine. And I just kind of thought that these kinds of names, like Ellen and Elaine and Eleanor, sort of reminded me, they seem kind of witchy in English and interesting.
Right.
And sort of like her, like how she would be.
Yeah, and Samantha Robinson, I read that she's actually British. And
Yeah.
and also another thing, I love the tea scene when she's talking with Tish. And, Tish is kind of making fun of her about, depending on a man or living in a fairy tale, when actually Tish was actually living that, what she was preaching to Elaine about, which I found, a little bit of a dichotomy. And
Right.
Tish
That's right.
had the British accent and Elaine had the American accent, and it was like a switch of roles. But yeah, it feels like your movie just touched on so many different senses, every scene was, it just feels like, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you. It appears that you're such a perfectionist. Was there any footage that you didn't use? I mean, I felt like it was all one take, I mean, it just feels like
There was a lot of footage. There's a Blu-ray and a DVD that are out now, and I've got like 45 minutes of deleted and extended footage on there, so that could be interesting.
And
one thing is that the ritual scenes were originally longer. I have 3 ritual scenes, and I had to cut them down just for pacing, but the extended scenes are really interesting. They're beautiful because you can really see the whole ritual playing out.
And how does our audience and listeners get the DVD? Where can we find it?
Yeah, you can get it anywhere. It's available all over right now. You can get it on Amazon or
iTunes.
Yeah, or iTunes, or I mean the extended stuff would be more on. I don't know. Maybe some of the downloads will have the extras too. Yeah, but the Blu-ray is gorgeous. They have this collector's edition, which is really gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like my business manager was talking, because we did the question answer at the theater. I think you were in New York at the time that it was showing here in Los Angeles. And he interviewed your cameraman about how it was stylized, like, the film and the lighting and the... did you describe it to the cameraman, or was that something that he...
I'm sorry, you cut out for a while, so what was your question?
Yeah, I was talking about the cameraman, that there was the lighting and the film. It was a throwback. I mean, yes, it was visually, it just stood out, but did he bring that technique into the film, or was that something that you requested, or how did that play out? Because it was really stylized with the film, different than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I worked with him before. He shot a short film of mine. We both went to Cal Arts, and so I knew he knew how to do that classical style of lighting, and I was looking for someone to do that style of lighting for this film, and I really couldn't find anyone. I was interviewing literally dozens of DPs, and I couldn't find anyone that was both willing to do it and also had done it before, was skilled at doing it. And so I actually hired a couple of people and then fired them, because
Well, yeah.
it kind of became clear in pre-production that they weren't going to be able to do it. So
Right.
I kept trying to get him, and he was busy and he was busy and he was shooting TV and he maybe had this feature coming up and maybe this was happening, and I just kept contacting him until finally he was available. And so I just waited. I waited because I thought, this movie isn't going to work out at all unless he can get this lighting that he can do.
And you said that you were an artist, and now I was reading about your parents. I can't recall their names right now, but is your mom an artist? Is
She's a fashion designer.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah,
because
a
the
dress
name.
designer, and then my father's a painter.
Oh, I see. So it's in the genes. And that's another thing. Once again, I want to go back to your childhood. Because you said that this character was a bit of you, and it was so real, the perception of Elaine, when after she made love to the professor and she's smoking a cigarette and she's talking about, his emotional, it's so true. I mean, it was just so real. Was that something that you observed growing up, or was it just, it obviously, uh, is there a little bit of a tomboy when you were growing up? It just feels like you had more of a male perception, even though the movie was extremely feminine, and I know that you have a male partner, but I'm just asking, where did you tune into that part of that character in regards
Are you
to?
talking about Wayne and how
Yes,
sexist he was?
yes,
Well,
and
that actually came directly from
from
a friend of
somebody.
mine,
Oh, wow.
the way he used to complain about women. A good friend of
Yeah.
mine was always kind of bitching about exactly that. Um, so this is how, playboys and seducers talk about women, you know?
Right.
It's their excuse for why they'll never settle down and why they'll never commit to somebody. Well, they'll pull a woman in and they'll do kind of a double talk to them,
Right.
and shower them with love, kind of love bomb them. But then now there's always something wrong with the woman.
Exactly.
And so I was trying to create a seducer, so I based him a little bit on this friend of mine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so most of the things about men were just based on men I know, and I've had conversations with other boyfriends or just friends.
Well,
And,
I had
yeah.
asked if you had interest in parapsychology. I mean, did you read a lot about psychology also?
Oh yeah, a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah,
yeah,
because I had to really understand this character Elaine, how she would really be realistically as kind of a sociopath, but also as someone who really was longing for love. And I read a lot about a pathological narcissism, but also I have been close to some people that had that disorder, so I was mainly taking it from people I knew, but also it helped to really understand some of the defenses and some of the projections and things, to create that character.
right. And did you grow up in Los Angeles? Are you
Yeah, I
from?
did. I grew up in Santa Monica.
Oh, okay. So yeah. And now, when Elaine, I first of all, I love the fact that you made her smoke through the film. I thought that was, because you never see that anymore. That was definitely it was real. It was just made her seem, like she had other things. She wasn't perfect. She wasn't. She looked
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah. I
but
thought I thought I would do that because the actress herself is kind of prim and she
mhm.
seems kind of perfect, and I wanted to break that up a little bit, by having her have like at least one bad habit.
Yeah, that was
You know?
perfect. Yeah. And I loved the wheelbarrow scene, when she was
Mhm.
going out, and also, the nudity was it. It was when we showed the clip. The editors and directors and engineers were like, "Wow, that's a nudity," but it was just it was so natural. kind of eased in. It wasn't like, there's a penis. It was like very natural. It just,
Yeah, I love nudity that isn't a big deal. I've always loved
yeah,
that. Nudity of men and women together, hanging out and just being together.
yeah,
I think it
yeah,
like erases some of the fear around
exactly,
nudity. And I
exactly.
discovered that in my last feature film, Viva. I had a nudist colony scene, and I didn't really know how it would be to direct it, but I just loved being around all those people who, were so happy with their clothes off and so comfortable, and so they just felt like so much freer without their clothing.
Yeah, it's definitely forward thinking, and yeah, as a audience, I just didn't think anything of it. So the way it was played out was amazing, and all your actors were brilliant. Very very talented. So you said that. How long did it take to write it, Anna?
Well, it took quite a long time. I think at least 2 years, because I
Wow.
just kept rewriting and rewriting and doubting myself and rewriting and rewriting. And I was doing other things at the time, but I just felt like I could never get the script right because I was trying to balance so many things in it. I was trying to make it kind of like a thriller and a mystery and a horror movie, but also kind of a slow art film in a way, something that would be kind of contemplative and personal.
And that's another thing that I really appreciated, because a lot of times you see trailers and then you go to the movie and the trailer is nothing like the movie. I really liked the fact that your trailer was very congruent with what I was going to see. I thought I really appreciated that. It was honest. It was, there was a lot of surprises and things in the film that you didn't get in the trailer. But I really did like the fact that there was some sort of formula that I knew what I was going to see. So just wanted you to know that, yeah, I mean, Hollywood,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
felt
I
that,
think some people think that they don't want to see trailers where they give too much away, but actually, market research shows that it's better to give more away in a trailer, so people aren't tricked into seeing kind of movie they don't really want to see. So they know kind of what they're getting.
right, right. So can we show the trailer once again
Sure.
and all the naked bodies, and then we'll come back and talk to Anna some more?
After Jerry died, the cops wouldn't stop harassing me. They couldn't prove anything. They actually thought that I killed him. Anyways, San Francisco got to be a really bad trip after you left. And that's when I remembered you had that extra apartment.
Hey. Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Well, what do men want?
Just a pretty woman to love and to take care of them. Love me. Love me. What I'm really interested in is love. You might say I'm addicted to love. You want to take a girl up there now? You want some?
What is it?
Well, I met this great-looking guy, and I used love magic on him. Then he got really weird on me. All these emotions started flowing out of him. Then he got really sick. What is it, Wayne? What is it, baby? What a pussy. What a baby. Wayne. Witchcraft is just a way of concentrating energy. It can only work with what's already there. I just use sex magic to create love magic. Sometimes it's almost scary how strong the love gets.
And sex magic, of course.
I would do anything for love.
this is Robin Zodiac, and you are just watching The Love Witch. And we have Anna Biller, who is the producer, director, and writer of this incredible film. So we just once again showed your clip, Anna, and I was going to ask you, but I think you answered the question. Who did the paintings? Those were your works of art, right? The paintings in the film.
I didn't do all of them, but I did. I did a lot of them. I did most of them. A couple of them I commissioned.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you did the costumes in the set. Did you actually sew those costumes, or was a
Yeah,
lot of
I
it?
did most of them. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. I'm a big seamstress. I was
Oh,
as a kid. Yeah, I actually went to LA Trade Tech for a while for clothing design, so I could really appreciate it. And yeah, I definitely love the Victoria House. Also, I wanted to ask you, where was that located, and how did you come across it? Was it in the source book, or where did you find that incredible Victorian home that that the lead, ended up staying at?
well, we were shooting up in Eureka and Arcata. That house was in Arcata, in Humboldt County. That's about 4 hours north of San Francisco.
Right, right.
And the reason we went up there to look was because my boyfriend had a girlfriend in Arcata, like years ago. And he told me that's a very witchy town. It's got some really weird architecture, beautiful Victorian architecture. You should go up there and look at it. So I did, and he was right. So all of that, Victorian architecture when she's driving into town and those different buildings, and then especially that house, they just have all of this really well-preserved architecture up there.
Well, it was amazing because purple is my favorite color, and it was just like an incredible home. And also, you said driving into town, that was a 65 convertible Mustang that she was driving? Was it 65 or 64?
It was 65 or 66. I can't remember.
I think it's
Yeah.
65. Yeah,
Yeah.
66 was a bit different. And of course, did you rent that, or was that sort
Yeah.
of
You had to rent that.
amazing?
Yeah.
Amazing. And another thing I wanted to ask you, like she was escaping Jerry. Jerry had died, and then she alludes to that she was suspect of his murder. Did Elaine kill her previous boyfriend, or was that question
Well,
ever
we
answered?
don't really know, do we?
Right,
I
we
mean, we
don't.
see him drinking something and then kind of
I,
falling dead,
I
and
love it.
she does make potions. We're not
Yes.
really sure. I would suspect maybe she did.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not really sure though. That was on purpose. That we're not really sure.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big question mark in my mind. But to tell you the truth, when I first came to LA in my 20s, I worked in development and read a lot of scripts, and my job was basically to find holes. I didn't find any holes in this script. I thought it was
Oh, that's why you asked me how long it took to write. Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was doing for 2 years, was trying to
developing it.
plug up all those holes.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it's hard to write a script. It's all completely holds together and is intact, and you keep finding these little things. Like,
right,
well, that person wouldn't do that, or wouldn't say that, or
right, right.
working on the psychology to keep getting it tighter.
Yeah, yeah, it was amazingly done. It was amazingly done. And yeah, and also the burlesque dancer. She's a famous burlesque dancer, right?
Yeah, she's amazing. She
Yeah.
auditioned for me for the lead role because my breakdown said that the lead role was a burlesque dancer,
Okay.
but she had no experience acting.
Okay.
I just thought, she was totally extraordinary. So I put her down. I said, well, do you want to do, she did a very, gallant sort of try at the audition, but she never had a lesson or anything. But I thought, she's incredible.
Yeah.
She'll be perfect dancing, in the movie.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is like making the burlesque scenes like, totally natural and today. And, it's amazing that, it is socially acceptable, to go to these performances. It's not taboo as it used to be,
Yeah, and she just enjoys what she's doing so much, and she's so healthy about it, and is having so much fun. It's
Yeah.
really nice,
And now I did read a little bit that there was another character that you were considering for Elaine, but then once you met Samantha Robinson, you had changed her character. Was that Barbara? Was Barbara
No,
initially?
no,
Okay.
actually, no. The woman who played Barbara, I did actually audition her for Elaine, but I pegged her right away as being more Barbara than Elaine. No, I didn't change her character. It was just like there were several runners up. They all
Oh, I
were
see.
completely different, and they were all really good actresses and totally gorgeous.
Yes.
And they all brought something completely different to it. So I had to decide what type of Elaine I wanted, you know?
And
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
and I also read that Samantha was a little young and that you were a little bit apprehensive because of her age, but she really carried this role so well.
Yeah, I
So,
saw that when I had a private meeting with her and I was talking to her and I thought, wow, she's really mature, like incredibly mature. Like you could think she was 30, how mature she was. And really articulate and poised and smart. You know, she's kind of an intellectual. She's a cinephile. And then I realized there's not going to be any problem with her age because she can play older very easily.
yeah, she carried it really, really well. And another thing I read about her is that I guess she was born in New York, but you said that she grew up in the UK. She's
Yeah, she
actually
grew up in London, and then she came back to the US when she was 14 and deliberately lost her accent. So that's just her natural speaking voice. That's how she speaks.
okay, great. So you didn't have
Yeah.
to work
No,
around
I
that.
didn't. And you know, the Trish character wasn't supposed to be British either, but she was just the very best actress I could find, and I thought her, you know, her everything about her was delightful. I just loved her to death, and I thought, well, she'll be
Oh,
perfect.
really?
You know?
Yeah. Oh, see, I thought she was acting as British, and
No, she's
she
British.
pegged her
Yeah.
accent. That's what I was thinking. Wow,
Yeah.
this is great. So yeah, do you have a favorite character? Of course, you know we all love the lead, but is there a character that stands out? I mean, male or female, or that?
Well, I think Elaine and Trish are my favorite characters, the both of them, in different ways. Um, you know, I like all my characters. I think they're great. I mean, the actors are so fantastic. It was so fun to work
Fantastic.
with them. And I
Fantastic.
know you haven't asked me this, but I wanted to put it in
Please.
this is the psychic show.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do, which I forgot to say earlier, that, you know, when I was researching for the movie and I was watching a bunch of witchcraft movies, I suddenly realized that there really are not witchcraft movies which are authentic about witchcraft practice. They are just, I just couldn't, maybe The Wicker Man, you know, maybe Season of the Witch. I wasn't finding any that weren't just silly, full of all this like supernatural silliness and mixing stuff up, you know? Like how Practical Magic has like an exorcism, which, you know what I mean, has nothing to do
Oh
with
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
all this like stuff that's so silly
Well, I actually was raised.
about witchcraft, and I really want to do like I want to do an authentic witchcraft movie about real practice.
Yeah, that's one reason why I really wanted you to come on because you really are a pioneer. And, you know, I was raised Mormon. I wasn't allowed to watch TV or listen to music. And then, you know, I went to college at 15, 16, and I started reading about Wicca. And I actually indoctrinated myself as a high priestess. But now I'm best friends with a real high priestess. But I got into the Wicca because it was, you know, something I identified with as the goddess religion. And yes, there is good and bad to it. And I really like the fact that, you know, you didn't dwell on one or the other. You know, it was well balanced. You
Yeah,
know?
I did a lot of research, and then what I found was that you have to actually put both in because that's what's out there. You know?
Exactly.
And I even mixed the coven up so that the high priest is a little more iffy, and the high priest, the high priestess is obviously a white witch, and he's kind of a little bit like he dabbles in, you know, OTO, and you know, he's kind of a little bit into Satanism. He's a little bit of a Thelemite. You know what I mean? He's just kind of more eclectic than she is, and she's more kind of good.
What is OTO?
The Ordo Templis Orientis, you know, Aleister Crowley's cult.
Aleister Crowley. Yeah, I use Aleister Crowley tarot cards.
Yeah, and then she had things in her, like Elaine had things in her spell book that were taught by him. Like it's very subtle, but you know, she had every man and every woman as a star, which comes from Crowley. And then some of the stuff they were telling the girls, the blonde girls in the burlesque club, came from Anton LaVey, and so there was stuff where, you know, they were kind of mixing it up, you know, and some of the rituals that I went to, I saw that happening, you know, and I saw that was, and I did some research and I found like in the 60s and 70s that was happening too. You know, that there were just all the different pagans were coming together, and sometimes
Right.
they were mixing things up.
Right.
Like, it's not really so pure as people think it is, you
No,
know?
it's not. But it does
That's why I
work.
have Dan.
Yeah.
That's why I have Dan in the burlesque club talking about how it's all mixed up. Like, he loves it all mixed up, you know?
Yeah, no, it was fantastic, and I totally agree that Hollywood totally misses the mark on witchcraft. So,
Oh yeah, they make it all like, you know, the Exorcist kind of thing, you know, like it's about Christianity or something. It's like about
right,
Christianity and the devil, you know, it
right,
has
right.
nothing to do with any of that.
Exactly,
I mean,
because
that's why I love the Wicker Man so much, because that's where, okay, we're really getting into the old religion here, you know, we're getting
well,
into what it really is about.
well, paganism is the grassroots of all religions. It's
Yeah,
actually, you know, witchcraft is the religion of poetry, and
absolutely.
I say we because, you know, it is my first love when it comes to spirituality. I'm not a religious person, but it does talk about witches believe in rebirth, which is similar to reincarnation. But we don't believe in a devil. I mean, Satan is the demon of anger, but
Right.
we don't
But
believe
there's
it.
there's the horned god, but he's not the devil, he's more like Pan.
Right, exactly.
And and then, you know, I really got into the books of Margaret Murray, and I know a lot of people say that's debunked and everything, but I completely believe in her argument about the old religion getting squelched in Europe and taken over by Christianity, and there
So
are these
true.
little pockets still existing, and in some of the outlying places and islands and places, and I think that's really interesting. You know, that I think that there are places where it's continued unbroken from ancient times.
Yes, most
That's what the
definitely.
Wicker Man is about, but I really think that's happening. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that that's happening.
Yeah, it's even happening today. I saw a few years ago they were saying that Egypt was originally Christian, and I'm like, oh, that's full of it. That's
I mean, what
they're
do you mean
trying.
originally Christian? I mean, Egypt's so
No,
much older than
I know,
Christianity.
and you know, actually,
Yeah.
Egypt, you know, with the goddess Isis and the whole, you know, the story of rebirth with Horus, Osiris, you know, dying, and the, you know, the embalming with Thoth. I mean, it's
I
totally,
see. Yeah. There are
yeah.
people that say that Christianity was taken from that
Yeah, like
early religion.
Christianity was
That
first.
they took it
Yeah,
and kind of used it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
totally ass backwards, you know. But
Yeah.
so yeah, but you know, that's another thing is that witchcraft is the religion. Well, first of all, it has actually been accepted into the military only in the last few years
I
as being
know.
recognized
Yeah.
as a
It's
religion.
recognized as a legitimate religion in the U.S. Yeah.
Yes, finally, and you know that the star, the five-pointed star. I mean, technically, our spirits, we are the same energy. Our spirits are the same energy as the stars. So we all are fallen stars, and you know, so the star is basically symbolic of you know, energy or spirit, and then the circle of life. You know, everything in life, you know, comes in cycles, goes in cycles. So you know. Every, you know, the pentacle is a very powerful symbol, but so many
Definitely.
people are brainwashed. So what's your next project, Anna? What else are we going to see? Are you going to do a sequel? I mean, does
I mean, not right away. I mean, it'd be fun to do a sequel, but I have this other script that I'm writing, and it's kind of based on the film noirs that are about terrifying husbands, bluebeards, or gaslighting husbands. You know, that a woman. It's a little bit like the Beauty and the Beast myth as well. It's like you marry someone you don't really know who he is or how terrible he is. You know, and woman is discovering little by little that she's married a monster.
oh wow,
So
well,
that's fun, and I'm doing that because I love those movies so much. I love them to death. You know, there's all these old movies that I watch, and whenever a movie with that sort of story comes on, I always just like get so thrilled, and I realize, well, I'm really drawn to this story. You know, this type of thriller.
yeah, well, I just think that it's amazing how you, like I said, you seem to have a male perspective on things, but in a very feminine, you know, very, you know, womanly way. Um,
I think I'm kind of a mix.
yeah, I
I would
do.
say that I'm kind of a mix, yeah, of the masculine and feminine. I think my perspective is more feminine, but I think that the way I work is kind of masculine. You know, like the way I sort of take charge, and I'm very single-minded when I'm trying to get something done. You know, but I
Yeah.
also have the female brain where I can multitask.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
fluid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wanted to ask about your boyfriend. I mean, does he love and appreciate your, fiery streak? And are you also a fire sign, a Leo, a Sag,
No, no,
Aries? Not at
no.
all.
I'm a triple Aquarius.
Oh my gosh. I would have
Yeah,
never guessed.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's the kind of maybe that's where all of the ethereal,
Right.
magical love stuff comes from. The stuff that's really that kind of mystical part of it.
Right. Right.
And the sort of balanced nature of the characters and the sort of humanitarian aspects of my work maybe come from that. It's all
Right.
very balanced.
Yeah, I did a book where I was photographed with a bunch of psychics and shamans, and I asked the photographer what zodiac sign is the most. He says, "Well, we've been photographing all Aquarians except you, and I'm a Pisces with more planets in Aquarius." So there you have it. But Aquarians, they kind of like ride in a little helicopter above it all, and they see life differently. And also, you're a mental sign. You're stimulated by the mind, and that definitely comes through
Yeah, that's
in the
very
love life.
Aquarian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
and
much.
it's kind of ethereal. But my
Yeah.
boyfriend's a Taurus. You asked
Oh,
about
wow.
and so we're kind of opposites. But because I'm very driven and focused, and he's a Taurus, and that he's like that, so we're kind of similar that way. But he also has a very ethereal nature as well.
Right.
So we're actually quite compatible. He's a famous author.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wrote. I don't know if you've heard of the book The Art of Seduction.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, well, that's his book.
Oh my gosh, he's older
Yeah.
than you.
What?
He's older than you. That was
Yeah,
big in
he
the
is, yeah.
70s. Actually,
Yeah.
didn't he have a place in San Bernardino where people would come and
No,
it was like a whole
I can think
group?
of it as somebody else. No.
Oh, okay. All right. No. But no,
No,
I
he's
know the
not a
book.
guru. He's just a writer. He's a classic scholar, and he's a writer.
Well,
No, he's not. You're mixing him up with some guru.
I know that book was inspiration for like these groups.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sex therapists always recommend this
Oh,
book. So I was
really?
just wondering if he was affiliated. No, there was a
No,
house.
because he also, he's written a book about war and a book about power and a book about mastery. So he writes these different books on social strategy, and then how people are. The different groups just kind of seize upon them and become cult-like about it.
Yes, exactly
whatever
what happened to
whatever subject it is.
That's exactly what happened to his book, The Art of Seduction. So yes, it's very famous. A lot of sex therapists use that book, actually, from what I gather. But
Yeah,
yes.
so he's a professional writer, and he helps me with my writing and yeah, even with my visuals, because he's a very visual person. So it's a great thing we have.
That's a good mix. Well, Aquarians and Tauruses are actually best friends. I'm sure
Really?
there's an attraction, but in astrology, yeah, they're very, very good friends.
Yeah, they're not. It's not supposed to be very compatible as a match, as a love match. But it works for us. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's wonderful. So I'm excited to see more. And I did read in your bio, I can only remember, you did a movie called The Hypnotist. Was that similar to the psychology aspect of your
Well,
movies?
that I didn't write that.
Oh, you did?
That was
Okay.
that was my friend's script.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so that was sort of a comedy. And I don't think it was really that similar. It was
okay.
more like, it was kind of like he was trying to do like a film noir type movie about sort of an evil siblings plotting against each other, and they hire this man to hypnotize the sister who's it's like a kind of a noir comedy type thing.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, no, that wasn't anything to do with me. That wasn't my script.
Okay,
I just directed it, yeah.
Now, are you kind of like a rebel? I mean, Aquarians are kind of born rebels. Are you kind of like a rebel, like you prefer to do your own films, your own style, your own words, your own, because, I definitely feel like, Hollywood would, launch you into greatness if you kind of, do what they direct you to do. Or are you going to stay independent and just do your own thing and let money come and let fans come and let people, just feed off of your creative energy? I mean, have you decided?
Well, the truth is that until this movie, I never got any really offers for Hollywood meetings. I've been doing this for a long time, and I made another feature that was popular, but it didn't attract any commercial attention. This one is attracting commercial attention, and so I am going to be working with some people with a little bit more money to help me out with, and things will be more structured, and I'll have to take on less.
Oh, great.
And so I don't think I'm a rebel, doing my own thing. I just think I like to get things right. And I did really try with this movie to get more people on board to help creatively. And I did get some, I got a wonderful makeup artist, great DP, and some creative
Amazing.
people that really did help. But I didn't find as much help in the art department or in costumes. And I think it was just I didn't have enough money to hire,
Well,
the people.
I
Yeah.
predict that's going to change, Anna. I really do. I really
Yeah,
feel like
it is changing. Yeah, but
I'm sure.
it is really hard to work, the skill of working with people, keeping your vision intact, but letting other people execute it, or letting them, run with things that they have. That's a different kind of skill than making stuff on your own.
That's true.
It's it's like more of a different kind of executive skill. I'm trying to get
Exactly.
better at that.
Yeah,
It's not like stubbornness so much as it is I want to make sure that things don't fail.
Exactly.
And I know how to do it on my own, but I'm not always sure I can get it right
with somebody,
with somebody else doing it.
Explain your vision. Listen, Anna, we're gonna have to tie up, but I want to run your trailer one more time. So I'd like to say thank you so much for your time and coming on. And I'm definitely going to search for other interviews and find out more about you, because I definitely feel like you're going to be a superstar, woman leader, make a huge impact not only in film but in the psychology of women today, because everybody watching and listening, go see The Love Witch and you'll understand it's an amazing forward-thinking film about real women. So thank you again, Anna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Robin. It's been
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure.
Have a good weekend. And I want to thank Lindsay, Chris, and Garfield for producing. And we're going to run this incredible clip. And I will see you all next week when we'll be taking calls from you, the listener. Bye now.
After Jerry died, the cops wouldn't stop harassing me. They couldn't prove anything. They actually thought that I killed him. Anyways, San Francisco got to be a really bad trip after you left. And that's when I remembered you had that extra apartment.
Hey. Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Well, what do men want?
Just a pretty woman to love and to take care of them. Love me. Love me. What I'm really interested in is love. You might say I'm addicted to love. You want to take a girl up there now? You want some?
What is it?
Well, I met this great-looking guy, and I used love magic on him. Then he got really weird on me. All these emotions started flowing out of him. Then he got really sick. What is it, Wayne? What is it, baby? What a pussy. What a baby. Wayne. Witchcraft is just a way of concentrating energy. You can only work with what's already there. I just use sex magic to create love magic. Sometimes it's almost scary how strong the love gets.
And sex magic, of course.
I would do anything for love. After Jerry died, the cops wouldn't stop.